Tank is clearing up, but it's still kind of foggy. I'm going to show you guys secrets of getting rid of sort of this kind of thing. This problem in particular comes from these things right here. So these dudes, they invaded, they got crazy, they dig into the substrate, they tore up different parts of the substrate and mixed it all together, started floating stuff around. Hi, that's my reflection. It's very cloudy. That's awesome. Going back down. Hey, more snails. Look at all that. These son-ups of guns are the ones that cause these problems. So here's what we're gonna do about it. I got this little thing of water. Didn't treat it or anything yet. I'm gonna show you how I get rid of these guys properly and responsibly. Alright, check this. First things first, we treat the water because I'm not actually trying to kill these things. I'm in the bochias and stuff that in here do that stuff, but those dudes down there are going to be putting a different thing in a bucket outside with plants and stuff, and they're going to live out their days with the other snails that they got out there. And now that should be about treated, it's going to be a little swirl of dirt. Woo! Now, second part. Step 2. Make sure your hand is part of all sorts of nature that's in your tank. I have duckweed. That's an easy way for me to do that. I go ahead, dip my hand in, and now I gain the powers of the Swamp Thing. Now that you have gained the power of the Swamp Thing, you have at least become a level 2 druid in power. Now that you have done this, you can sneak up on your snails, and you have now let your other animal friends know that you mean them no harm. See, right there is some, but I need to be gathering quite a bit more. But do not worry, it might look like I've lost my powers of the Swamp Thing. I have not. We still have a druid nature to us. Say hello to the old man Bada. Summers is about 2-ish years old. He has gotten old, he is sleepy all the time, but he's still looking good. His colors are together, even though they fade a little bit. I can thank that to the Hikari micro pellets. Not a sponsor of CChem either. But it does so much better to have those things in my tank because it helps my guppy friends, my betta friend, and even the bottom dwelling friends enjoy this. Hey, that's a piece of Anacharis. Weebo, we sneaky. So now that I've kicked up enough soot to make mothers weep and babies cry, it's now time to take these little snails onto outside. Outside, I have a bucket. This is a bucket that's got snails and plants and stuff. These just gonna leave out their days in here. So you guys, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. You don't want to dump these in water. That's not a good thing. They're gonna live out in this bucket. When it does rain, it starts to get really rainy, I bring this bucket onto an awning kind of deal so it doesn't get rained on too much and doesn't overflow. And what's really cool is after these snails live out their short lives in here, I can go ahead and scoop up some duckweed and use it for the tank. So I'm sure you're wondering the stuff that gets this all off your arm. Well, that's the thing. You can try your best to get it off your arm the best you can. But you always have some bit of on you at some way and somehow. I believe this is what causes multiple tank syndrome when it comes to aquatic plants. I don't know. But also, could be by the reason I might be having all sorts of issues with multiple tank syndrome with anything. I don't know. Is it the same for reptiles? I must have been bitten by some sort of druid or something when I was a little kid. Yeah, but in all seriousness, what you can do is you just grab yourself a thing of some treated water. This has some CChem Prime in it. Again, not sponsored, but great. And you can kind of top off your water by kind of dripping that nice and slowly off your arm. Because by this point, if your arm's covered in this junk, it means that you kind of already washed a lot of this off. And make sure before even doing this with your tanks that you actually take the time to make sure that any soap, shampoos, if you washed yourself recently, or if you've done some dishes or something. And usually you do that a couple times, it all comes off. But like I said, some of it does kind of stick on. And I believe it gets absorbed into their bloodstream or something. So be careful about that out there, you know. Now, as you can also see with the other bits, and then some more serious now, people. A lot of that was some funny, jokey stuff. I did pull, as you noticed in the last videos, a lot of the duckweed out because I had to. It was clumping up and it was causing algae to gather and it clumped up real bad. So, but another very good thing to do if you guys do have floaters and stuff, you displace a lot of water when you get your arms really deep and they're trying to get stuff out or messing with things. So make sure you put it back because these are still healthy little things. And as you can see, I have a lot of water to kind of put these guys in now. And I do have a little backup tank out there. I do have to wait a bit for those snails and everything to kind of live out their time in that tank. It could take a whole season or something. I may not be able to keep that bucket all that time. Well, no, we don't know. We will see. But the big thing is always make sure you're not just throwing stuff back out there that don't need to be out there. That is a larva of something small right there. Let's see, I don't know how to help you what that is. I want to make sure it's not a parasite. because I do have snails in here. You're coming with me, little friend. You're going in the bucket with those snails. All right, well, I don't know if you guys did see that thing, but it was a tiny little crawly thing on the top of the tank. It looks suspiciously like the tiny little round worms that might infect shrimp. Not guaranteed, but we don't take chances. And that's today's little thing about how to kind of clean out fish tanks when it comes to dealing with snails. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.